Hey team, welcome to our second behind the scenes video. Today we're going to show you what happens when you bring a duckling to Native Ark. We admit 500 ducklings to our wildlife hospital each year, and that is a lot of work for our volunteers. There is an endless amount of washing, dishes, we have to do a lot of food prep, clean up a lot of poo to make sure these animals stay fit and healthy so that we can release them at their end of the rehabilitation journey. Now we're going to go into our wildlife hospital, talk to Dr. Meg and see what happens up there, and then we're going to move through to our rehabilitation stages, and Karen Clarkson, our rehabilitation coordinator, will show you what happens in the 3 stages of rehabilitation. Now if you haven't already, please go to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe and tap that bell icon and stay up to date with our daily videos and posts. So let's go see if we can find Dr. Meg and we'll look in the wildlife hospital. We're doing a video on ducklings. Do you mind taking our viewers into the wildlife hospital and just showing them what happens when ducklings are brought in? Cool, beautiful, let's go.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about baby ducklings and what we do with them when they come into our care. So normally when we get ducklings in, they come in large groups, about 10 to 14 ducklings at a time. We have a look at the health of the whole group that's there, and we keep them up here for about 24 hours and just give them some spark and some supportive care. And we keep them in these little humidity cribs, so they've got a temperature controlled and a humidity controlled environment. And if we're happy with their progress, they then get sent down to stage 2 for the next phase of rehab.
So once the ducklings have come down from the hospital after they've been treated up there, they'll come into our vivs here. So when they're here, they have a heat lamp permanently on them 24 hours a day, and they'll have their viv cleaned out at least 3 times a day because they are very, very messy little things. So these guys will get fed 3 times a day. And in the feeds we have a variety of shredded mixed greens, so it can be Chinese cabbages and some cabbage leaves. We then give them some grated carrots, some bird seed, some insectivore and some mineral powders. We put it in. We also provide them with what we call a mother duckling. It acts as a comforter, I guess, like you would for your baby. So we hang this high up in the back. It's a bit of a shame for these ducklings because often they'll come into care through no fault of their mum and dad, because they do have good mum and dads, the ducks. And sometimes they'll get hit by cars or they'll just get scared off from the babies. And then that's how we end up with them. We always check that there's none left. It is hard to count them when they're this busy. So there's 9 in there. We will fill up their water. So now they've got a nice wet mixture. And you can see that they're quite happy and busy eating. Okay, so the second part of stage 2 for our ducklings is our tractors. Ducklings have just come from vivs where they've got heat lamps on them 24 hours a day. During the day we take them outside and we line them up, try and line them up on a new bit of grass every day so that they can forage on the grass. They need fresh water, which we top up quite a bit and keep clean. We will give them top-ups at lunchtime of green feed, which they love, and also clean their ponds out throughout the day. This is our last stage for the ducklings before they go to release. So if we come through, so this is our pre-release enclosure. This is the last stage that the ducklings go. So they've gone from the hospital system through to our vivs, through to our tractors which go indoors at night with heat lamps. Then they come out here into the larger enclosure where they live here now 24 hours a day. They do have a heat lamp to start with that's under there, and they do congregate and sleep under there at night. So that gives them still a little bit of heat and shelter when they first come out. But they will live here. Generally we keep our ducklings for 8 to 10 weeks before we're able to release them back out into the wild. They get fed 3 times a day still out in this stage. So it is quite labour intensive looking after ducklings, but there's nothing better than watching them when they're released.
There you have it. That is how we look after all the ducklings admitted to Native Ark. We have a 4-stage rehabilitation program that is underpinned by an amazing team of volunteers. Wildlife rehabilitators in WA are the lifeblood of this industry, and we'd just like to thank all of you for your ongoing efforts and your commitment to wildlife conservation. So stay tuned for more behind the scenes videos, and together we're all helping wildlife live. Hey team!